I'm here after an unexpected unintentional break with a vid without the vid. What does that mean, you may ask? Well, I got coronavirus. Yay! I have my shots. I got my vaccines in May, and then I got the booster, but I only got the booster like 2 or 3 weeks ago because I was traveling a lot for work, and then it was Christmas, and every place that I was, you had to schedule it like at least a week in advance because they didn't have enough, and it was a mess. So it took a while for me to be able to get the booster, and then I'd schedule it. There was just a lot of problems. But between that and other things, then I got COVID, which was not fun. We were super careful, but I think Omicron's just really, really easy to get. But it would have been way worse. I'm confident that if I didn't have the vaccine. So if you haven't gotten your vaccine yet or your booster, please go do that. But yeah, it wasn't awful. It was kind of like a really bad cold for me because I had the shots. But I have asthma, so I was a little bit worried about how that was gonna go. Still kind of congested, my voice is still a little funky, but overall it could have been a lot worse. But while I'm here, I want to do a thing that I have been thinking about for like at least a week, but I wasn't feeling up to it, which is, could this book be a band name? So it kind of is exactly what it sounds like, but I was looking at my bookshelf, which has a lot of the books that I've owned for years since high school, and some of them are my mom's books. And one of them I was looking at it and I was like, I think that could be a band name. And I don't really think I'm the best person to judge this, but I'm the only one here. So that's I'm gonna do it. You can tell me if I'm wrong, which I probably will be, because I don't know, who gets to decide? Today it's me. Today it could be you. So let's go along and play a lovely game of could this book be a band name? Please forgive me if the lighting and sound and everything else is different in here or not so good. We don't really have good lights for this, but it is what it is. So these top books here are my mom's, but I've read most of them. And then we go further down and we kind of see a lot of the books that I read as a kid. So I'm just gonna sit on the floor and go through these one section at a time. Promise it won't take a million years, just 1,000. Okay, so we've got Miss Tippy, I think. Is that what that? I'm not good with those kind of cursive letters. I think I mentioned this in my NaNoWriMo videos. I'm also dyslexic, and lots of curvy letters like that really like mess me up. I mean, lots of things do, but that's not ideal. But I think those are P's. Miss Tippy, I think that could be a band name. Yeah, I think it would have to be kind of like, maybe like indie. Like, it wouldn't be a rock band, but it could be like, I don't know, I could see it. We'll put that in the yes, that could be a band name. This one, Mystery of the Lost Letter. Maybe like The Lost Letter. I could see that. I don't know if the whole title, it might be a little much. So as a whole, I'm gonna say no, couldn't be a band name. Mrs. Seton? Yeah, I could see that. It depends. I mean, you have like Mr. Wives. I could see like Mrs. Seton. It's kind of specific, but I'll say, yeah, could be a band name. Okay. The Joy, the Hurt, the Discoveries. Growing. I think just growing, probably. Or the Hurts. The Hurts could be interesting. Growing. Yeah. It wouldn't be a very exciting band name. Nah, I'm gonna say no. Okay, The Alchemist. It could be a band name. Like, I can see this being kind of like, hello, we're the Alchemists, like, I could see it, just like a band, but called The Alchemist, like, they're all collectively one single alchemist. I could see that. I kind of like it, because, like, I don't know if you read this book, you know that he goes on a journey trying to figure out if he can turn stuff like this into gold. It's been a long time since I read this book, if you can't tell, but I remember that generally. There's, like, a point where he's trying to turn something into gold. There's like it's a trip along the way kind of a thing. But so I can just imagine all of these people collectively working together to create one single alchemist, because I don't think that would succeed anyway. But maybe they're trying to turn their music into gold, man. I can see it. Yes, could be a band name. Now this book is what started the whole thing. Because, so the author of this book is Young, so it's Young the Shack, and I was like, well, that's kind of like Young the Giant, you know? So I don't know if the Shack would itself be a band name, but because it gave me the idea for this video, I'm gonna say Young the Shack could be a band name. Maybe not a good one, but a band name just the same. Alright, the next book is For One More Day, which I feel like sounds like bands that exist, like A Day to Remember. One More Day is probably a band already. But For One More Day, I'm gonna say yes, right? That's like, I can see that being kind of like an alt band. Although maybe now I'm just thinking of more A Day to Remember, so it would be a little bit more angsty. Okay, well this cover looks like this. It is the Bobbsey Twins? Bobbsey Twins, maybe? The Bobbsey Twins of Lakeport. Wow, just call me Jared, because I can't read. So the Bobbsey Twins of Lakeport. It's kind of a long name. The Bobbsey Twins. What about just the Bobbsey Twins? But what if are they twins? If they were in a band, are they actually twins? Or would it be more interesting if they look nothing alike? I'm gonna say no. I mean, it could be, but I don't have the same conviction. The Traveler's Gift. I feel like this would be like, why do I feel like this would be some kind of like Christian alt band? Like the kind you'd hear on like those stations where at first you turn them on and you're like, I can't tell if this is religious or not, and then you're like, oh no, it's like, yeah, it's he is good, he is great, all that sort of thing. I feel like the Traveler's Gift would be like a band dedicated to the wise men or something. But yeah, like a Catholic Christian alt band trying to like bring in the youth sort of thing. I'm gonna say could be a band name. Okay, this book is just called Words. Someone would do that. Someone would do that, yeah. The Way, which is the Living Bible. This is my mom's. Okay, it could, the way could definitely be a band name. But like now I'm thinking about how I called that last, well, 2 ones ago, a Catholic Christian band. This one could be a religious band too. But it could also be an alt band, or that's always what I go to. I feel like that's sort of where I live, so we'll say yes. Okay, we're getting into the books that were mine from a while ago. It's fine. Okay, well, Lord of the Flies. That could be a band, right? Lord of the Flies? Yeah. I'm not even gonna, that's, yes. Red Queen. See, the problem is with these books is that I'm tying them so closely to what they're about in my mind that I'm like not separating them as objectively as I do with the books that weren't mine. But Red Queen could be a band. Okay, so The Psychopath Test, very interesting book. I think it could be. So like, I can imagine like some kind of more like grungy style band being The Psychopath Test, right? Yeah, we're gonna say yes. A Wrinkle in Time. Now this is where am I looking at this completely separately from its content? Because I feel like this one and Lord of the Flies both are so kind of tied to historic literature in a way. Like we all read this in middle school, right? That it's like, would the band be named after the book specifically because it's been around forever? Or are we just pretending this book doesn't exist and seeing if this would be a band name? Because I think that's what I've been doing. So I guess I'm going to separate this from the history of the book. Wrinkle in Time. I feel like I don't really like it as a band name. Call me crazy. I don't like it. Now this one, Eric Larson, I believe, yeah. Devil in the White City. Yeah, that's not, I mean, it's a little long, but if you can have Panic at the Disco, you can have Devil in the White City. Yeah, could be a band name. This whole time I'm just thinking of that John Mulaney, but like, could be Nursery. Could be a band name. So we're gonna say yes. In a Dark, Dark Wood. Well, I'm gonna say no. I'm not feeling that so much as a band name. Okay, so this one is the Feckin' Book of Irish Slang. It's from the Feckin' Collection. Now that could be a band name. See, like, down there, the Feckin' Collection, that could be a band name, but it's not the title of the book. So we're gonna put it in no. Couldn't be a band name. Now we've got the Divergent series. So we've got Divergent, Allegiant, and Insurgent. Okay. I think, let's see, let's look at them individually. Insurgent, it could be a band name, but I feel like I don't dig it, so I'm gonna say no. Allegiant, so Allegiant reminds me less of a band name and more of a medication commercial. You know, like, don't take Allegiant if you're allergic to Allegiant or any of its ingredients. Side effects include death, crying, wanting to be somewhere else, wishing you were someone else, wishing you had never taken Allegiant. So I feel like, I don't know if I can imagine this being a band name, because I definitely think it's some sort of pharmaceutical drug that makes you want to die. Nothing to do with the content of the book, just that's my objective review. So no, I'm gonna say it's not a band name. And then Divergent, I think that would be a band name. Like, let's go, like, neurodivergency, absolutely. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, I'm with ya. I feel like Divergent could mean a lot of things in that context. And it would definitely be like the we're misunderstood kind of thing, but like in a good, this is all in a good way. So I think like could definitely be, out of the 3 books, could definitely be a band name. Maze Runner, Scorched Trials, The Death Curse, The Kill Order, and then this one, which isn't really in the same thing exactly, but it is, Fever Code. So let's see. Kill Order could be a band name. That would be kind of a cool band name, yeah? Just like I don't know why I always want to bring them into like some weird British thing. I'm imagining them in like Camden in London, not Camden, New Jersey, Camden in London, like where all the old like cool bands used to play, and just like we're the Kill Order, you know? I'm not sure why it sounds like that. It's not my best accent either. Just, please forgive me. I still have congestion from COVID, and also I'm just kind of crazy. So, the Fever Code. I don't like it as much. I don't like it. I have no good reasoning for it. I just feel like, could it be a band name? Yeah. Do I want it to be? No. Death Cure? Yeah. That's kind of a cool band name. Like imagine, okay, we're on a stage, everything's black, you know, the lights are off, and then single spotlight, and then in the background you have flickering, you know, and it's like, but it's like flickering death a lot, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like cure, and then they just come out. Okay, anyway, so yes, it could be a band name. Scorched Trials, similar to Fever Code. I feel like I don't like it as much as a band name. I think it's the second word that really gets me, like Fever Code, but like fever, like, I mean, fever pitch is an expression, but like fever something else I think could work, or something else code, but it's mainly the second word that's really, like scorch something, like the scorch, I could see that, but the scorch something else, the trials is what's getting me. I'm a no on that one. Classic Maze Runner. No. Hand of Fate. So I think this is the book that I didn't finish reading. You can see where I stopped. It wasn't that it was a bad book. I used to work at Dairy Queen, and this was the book I'd bring to read when there was nothing to do. And like in the book, you can kind of see there's like blue here. It's from it's either from the sprinkles, like a melted sprinkle, or we used to do those like ice things that you'd put flavoring in, so it would be like the blue raspberry flavoring. Hand of Fate though, that could be a band name. I don't think I need to go in depth on that one. I just think could be a band name. Also ties me back to weird memories, so I'm gonna just move on from that one. Similar to the psychopath test, Confessions of a Sociopath. I think in the same vein, could be a band name. It's just got that kind of like edgy, but maybe a little bit wrong if you were a band kind of a sound. But like this could be an album cover. Like yeah. Yes. Okay, this is another one. So you see here, it's like a novel of obsession. I almost feel like novel of obsession sounds like a better band name. But could Once and Future Spy be a band name? Yes. Do I like it though? No. I think it's the Once and Future part. Like, it's almost clunky as a band name. As a book title, good. But as a band name, I'm just imagining someone being like,
welcome to the stage, the Once and Future Sky!
And everyone's like, yay! But it doesn't flow the same way as like other, I'm gonna say no. It's a no from me. Delusion, that's a band name. Yeah, that's a band name. Okay, okay, we're really close now, guys. Room, I don't know if I like it as a band name. What about More? But no, this book, separate from band names, I know like it's an old book and lots of people have recommended it. But if you haven't read this book, I would definitely recommend it. It's like really trippy with your mind. Like it's all from the perspective of a child who's only lived in one room. He was like kind of born there and then been there his whole life. So like his only friends are inanimate objects, and his mom's there, but they're all like they're trapped. It's very dark, and like reading everything from his perspective really like screwed with my mind. But it was really well done. So separate from band names, good book. Could it be a band name? I'm gonna say no. Oh, this is just from my college, my university in Ireland. I went to Maynooth, the Maynooth Student Survival Guide. I'm gonna say no, but look how cute. They really did try. So good on them. Also from Ireland, this is just a little book from when I went to Trim Castle. Trim, could that be a band name? Yeah, but it's not very interesting, so I'm gonna say no. This book is from Alcatraz. I got it signed because when I was there, the man who wrote it was there. So yeah, he was like the last person to leave Alcatraz when they were closing down the island. Very interesting, good book. Last Guard Out. I think that could be a band name. It flows a little bit more than like some of the other ones. This isn't a book for like casual reading. This is my cold case book from college. Cold Case, Evaluation Models with Follow-Up Strategies for Investigation, 2nd edition. Cold Cases could be a band name. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like that's another one of those like, yeah, so it's like dark enough. I think maybe that's the problem. There's like a threshold where it has to be dark enough but also flow. And granted, a lot of my perspective is more from sort of the alt world. I grew up listening to like 60s music of the 60s to the 80s, and then when I got older, I listened exclusively to like pretty much all alternative music. So I have a really strange dichotomy of things that I listen to. Just like all of these really good old musicians, but they're not band names as much. I mean, you get like the Mamas and the Papas, but like less so band names in my mind. It's more like people. And then we get all these weird band names from the alt side of things. So I know I'm missing like a whole demographic, but this is me, and I'm here deciding. No one else is here to make these choices for me, so let's finish her out. What the Dead Know. I think that could be a band name. It's a little long, but I think it's got enough like intrigue that would be something people would do. Oh, Mortal Sins. That could be a band name. Is it a band name? Some of these I don't know. They might actually be real band names. I think I might look that up after this, just to see if any of these are real band names. But yeah, I think Mortal Sins could be a band name. The Memory Keeper's Daughter. That sounds kind of cool. I feel like that would be an interesting. Like you're like, what kind of music would they do? I feel like it would be a little bit dark, a little bit like kind of floaty, if that makes sense. Like that kind of like that weird vibe. Yeah, I'm gonna say The Memory Keeper's Daughter could be a band name. Don't Kiss Them Goodbye. It's a little long, kind of sad. Maybe like a different genre, but I'm gonna say it's not a band I would listen to. Okay, we're at the last section. Last section. No Time to Die. That's a lot of things, I think. There's a lot of things that are kind of called that. No Time, I could die. Yeah, it's the same kind of vibe. It's got that like dark enough, but interesting enough. This book I never finished. Chasing Embers, but that sounds like a band name. Like it just is. That's like classic band name. Okay, The Picture of Dorian Gray. This is like one of my favorite books ever. I think, well, obviously Dorian Gray is, but I'm gonna say that the whole title is a little much for a band name. So in its entirety, I'm gonna say no. And I guess it's not Dorian. My mind's mixing a bunch of things. It's Dorian Gray, but Dorian Gray is very close. So I'm still gonna say no, but I think that Dorian Gray is a good band name. So, I mean, they don't need my approval. They've been around long enough. But this is, oh, I don't even know what this is. Prayers, Papers, and Play. Devotions for Every College Student. I think this is like a religious college student book. I've never looked at it. Gonna put it back on the shelf. It's not a band name. So I had a mini collapse of books when I was trying to look at that last one. But let's take a look real quick. So these are all books that I said could not be band names. I'll have to count them. I'll let you know in a second. Whereas over here, we've got these books and these books. Lots of books that I think could be bands. Okay, so Perry and I just went through all the books to figure out which ones are bands and how many I said could be either. So we found that 25 books I said could be bands and 18 I said could not be bands. So we went through and I looked up all of them, and it turns out 14 of the 25 that I thought could be bands are in fact bands. And so I was a little bit like loose on my definition of band, in that I counted it so long as they had like a Facebook page or a SoundCloud page that I could find when I just immediately Googled it. That's what I said. Yeah, that's a band. So some of them only have like, I don't know, 200 and something followers on Facebook, but I mean, like, you know what? That's fine. Still gonna count it as band. So what did I say? That was 14 of those, and then there were 4 honorable mentions. So these are things that they might not be band names, but the title pretty much verbatim is something else. So that's like I have here. Obviously, No Time to Die is a song by Billie Eilish, so that's a thing. The Alchemist is a music producer. Lord of the Flies is an album by the goth rock band Nosferatu. And there's a lot of songs called One More Day, which is very close to For One More Day. So I couldn't count it because it's not exact, but I thought I would just throw it out there. And then I had 18 things that I said could not be bands. And so I looked all those up too, to be thorough. And it turns out 5 of those are bands. And to be fair, I think when I was, making my decisions here, it was mostly if I thought that, like, if I liked them as band names. So just because they are bands doesn't mean that I was wrong so much as it means that I'm just not as big of a fan of the band name. But I found the more recent book titles usually aren't band names if they're specific. So like anything in the Maze Runner area, it could be a band name, but you're never gonna find it because it's just overwhelmed by all of the book and sometimes film related media. So if you look up like Maze Runner band, it's just gonna show you music that came up in the movie The Maze Runner. So there could be a band called that, or some of the other ones that I said no to, but they didn't come up right away, so didn't count, to me at least. So I listed everything based on how it was described in my initial search, and some of these I think there could be other bands by the same name, but I just took whatever the first one was and I wrote it down. So we'll go through real quick. Hand of Fate is a rock metal band. With the Dead No is alt rock. Delusion is metal. Cold Case is a Finnish country-inspired band. Mortal Sins, so the book's Mortal Sins, the band is Mortal Sin. I decided it was close enough, but it was on the edge. Divergent is also a Finnish band. It's a metal band. I didn't really look up where many of these were from because it didn't really matter. I was just trying to decide if they were bands, but I thought it was interesting that 2 of them happened to be Finnish bands that came up very soon after the other. Then we have Chasing Embers, which is a Ukrainian alt-metal band. The Shack is alt-rock. Red Queen is a rock metal band. Kill Order is just very screamy. That was I don't think it really has a page, but it came up on one of those like SoundCloud type things. So I looked at it very briefly, and it was very screamy. So that's what I said. The Way they define themselves as a Jesus band. So that's not me just like writing down Jesus band. That's how they say that they are a music band, just Jesus. And then Words is an alt band. So, what did we learn from this experience? A lot of the bands that I said could be bands are rock, metal, or alternative. That seems to be the trend, which isn't really that surprising to me. Seemingly what I was thinking when we were going through it was that it was going to be more alternative, and a lot of it was. I was surprised by how much metal there was. But I guess a lot of the bands are a little bit darker. Like a lot of the book titles are darker because I read a lot of darker books. But I guess that's not too surprising. Books and bands are similar in a lot of ways because we want them to be catchy and grab your attention. And, when you're scrolling through Spotify, it's similar to, excuse me, scrolling through like Audible, right? You want something that's going to catch your attention and keep you there. So I'm not all that surprised that a lot of books that I picked out today are also bands. Well, this is an interesting endeavor. I don't know if anyone's gonna enjoy it or not. I have a lot of other books in my apartment in California, so if anybody does like it, we can do something like this again, except I'll have a tripod, and that'll be better. So, for now, I suppose that's all. If you like this video, perhaps give it a like, because I have a platypus, and I think that that's worth it. So, yeah, do all the things, except, sorry, I didn't mean to cough in my hand, that was gross. Got me off guard. Get your vaccines, people. Don't get sick. Stay safe, stay healthy. Like, comment, and all that stuff if you feel so inclined. If not, thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. Okay? Sweet dreams.